Good morning, everyone. Today is a special day. On Gabriele Catalini, as well as Clever, who's the CFO. Just so you know, ORA is a mid-tier gold and copper production company focused on mainly the Americas. And this is an old story that's been revamped, and it's a new story. And very few people in North America here know what's been going on. But wow, what a stock, what it's done. It is positioned for growth. We're going to talk about that. We're going to highlight, there's a huge dividend. There's lots of growth potential. They just did a senior note announcement today. I won't ruin all the surprises. I'll let you guys talk about it. But not enough people know this company, and it's positioning itself to do a lot of great things. A Brazil-focused company, mainly a Brazilian company, but focused on all of the Americas. Gabriele, how are you doing today? Looking forward to hearing about all sorts of things that you guys are up to.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation to be here. We're quite glad to be here together with you, Andrew and Austin. That's it. We're coming from the best year. 2020 for ORA was one of the best years in our company. So we had our IPO here in Brazil. So now I'm based in Brazil, but we have our headquarters in Miami. We are a company that was is listed in Canada since 2006. So we had been two different companies together throughout our history, but since 2017, when we got a new controlling shareholder, a new executive team, we're putting together a new story to be built. And 2020 was the key year for us. With our IPO, we went to the market. Our market value was multiplied by 10, 12, and we're still really strong for growth. We're strong in cash. We just raised. We just announced this morning to be ready to raise $80 million to help us on that growth path and our growth plan for the next few years. And we are far from what we want to be yet. Although the whole growth that you saw last year, we're still a long way to go to be what we aim to be. So we're excited to all that is about to come.
And before I just have Kleber and introduce who's joined us here as well, I just wanted to highlight that whenever I was able to speak with you a couple of weeks back, and I hadn't heard the story, and went through the presentation and talked through, I was like, holy smokes, a lot has gone on, but at the same time, there's so much more that's going on. So it isn't one of these situations where people think, oh, I've missed it. No. There's been it's been received well without a lot of North Americans even knowing it's there. So there's that market has to recognize still as well. But you've positioned yourself in that mid-tier, which is really exciting, well-funded, cashed up, raring to go, with a lot of options. And there's every facet you look at, the numbers look very strong. And this, for someone who wants to have some revenue come in, have some strong numbers, have some good resources, as well as very well supported and funded, this is quite a story to look at.
Yeah. So if you compare 2016 to 2020 last year, we have already grown 60-70%, and we have already within the projects within our portfolio the way for us to double our capacity to reach more than 400,000 ounces to 2024, and that just with the projects that we have in-house in our portfolio. And at this point in time, as you mentioned, we just raised $80 million for as debt, and we're strong in cash for potential new opportunities that comes along the way for us to look outside and go and help us growing even further than this doubling the capacity as we showed in here for 2024. So we're strong, and we're on the right. We're the right company at the right time in the right market to grow. I think it's
No, that's for sure. I mean,
what we are.
that I love that you're strong and well situated for growth. And with that, and we can talk a bit about management as well, because everyone likes to talk about the project specifically, the management, and where is this growth coming from? We have your CFO who's joined us. We've had some technical difficulties, but we're glad to have you on. Kleber, how are you? I think your microphone's muted.
Hi.
There we go. Beautiful.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry, I had some technical issues.
No
Nowadays, no common. I connected through my phone, so I hope the connection is going to be more stable. But that's why I do see it. So morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning, Kleber.
So yeah, glad to have you on, and kind of reiterate the things that we've been catching up with. You've had quite a lot of growth last year. It's been quite a story. But you are the producer in Brazil right now, mid-tier, with a huge launching pad, I would say, to grow. And you're positioning yourself quite nicely. And quite frankly, that's with not a lot of attention or love from the North American markets that I think once they start to look and go, "Ooh, holy cow, what's going on? Who are you guys?" I think that you'll be very well received.
Yeah, and I think a little bit, as Gabriel was explaining, we're doing kind of our internal homework. I think since the change of control, Gabriel was explaining, we had to work a lot internally. And then now was the time to come back to the market and say, look, we're working internally. We are a growing company. I see as a benefit that we're in the middle of the growing curve, So that brings credibility because we already grew close to 7% in the last 3 years, our production. But at the same time, we still have the opportunity because if we develop those projects that we have in-house, we expect to double the production in the next four years. So I think that's a nice story and now is the time to come to the market and say, look, we're ORA. We had some internal changes here. We have been working the last couple of years to change the company, to bring in new assets, put it in production. It's producing results, as we can show here, but there is more to come. So
maybe you can walk us through some of these assets and just as a general overflow, because we don't want to go into too much details of where some of this growth is going to come from. And I assume the 80 million debenture or senior notes, sorry, not debentures, that's going to go to funding some of the either infrastructure or some of these projects, or how is that going to flow?
Mainly the next one is the Almas project. Almas project is going to require around $75 million in capex. So we can say we're fully funded to put the project in place. Almas is a project that we expect to produce around 50,000 ounces per year during 16 years. So it's a pretty long life of mine for a gold mine, 16 years. The economics are very attractive. We released about 2 months ago a feasibility study indicating the IRR should be close to 50% per year, 50, nice. Unlevered. Now, as we're leveraging it, with 50% leverage, the expected IRR would be above 100% internal rate of return, considering gold prices 1550. So we still have room.
That's a lot of room. Yeah, I would say anybody who looks at gold would say that's a very conservative place to be. So I was just about to ask you what price you're using, but that's great.
Exactly. So if all goes well, Almas should be producing by the end of 2022. That's going to add to our production. Next is Matupá, also in Brazil, which should come 1 year later. So by end of 2023. So it's pretty similar to Almas in terms of size. Should add another between 56,000 ounces. We are currently doing a pre-feasibility study. Expect to have a full feasibility study by early next year. And other than that, our operations, we have one operation in Brazil that currently is producing 70,000 ounces per year, Apoena. So it's already producing cash flow. Last year was a very good year for Apoena. And now we are about to reach a high-grade area, according to our mining plan. So
yes,
by the end of this year, in the whole 22, we should increase production for next year. It should be significantly above what we're producing currently. Aranzazu in Mexico, we just restarted the mine at early 19. This quarter in Q2, we just completed increasing capacity by 30%. So we're going to see going forward more production coming from Mexico as well.
So this slide here is great because this slide here kind of goes over your whole milestones to hit. Production numbers. When I saw this, I was like, this is great because it gives, for just a generalist, an illustrated mapping of what to expect. And I mean, that growth, woof. It looks good.
And it's coming from we already have a good planning. It's not okay. We want to grow and we depend on maybe on some certain acquisition or if we're successful exploratory program. No, we know. No, we are increasing Aranzazu. We have finished the increase in production. For the increase in production to come from our existing operation in Brazil. It's according to the reserves that we have, so it's according to our mining plan. Almas is also 4301 compliant. It's in progress. So I think this growth, what I see as positive, we have a very clear path where the growth is going to come from.
Yeah, and what I'd like to add in is that together with our production for gold, 20% to 25% of our revenues comes from copper. So we're taking all the advantage of those upsides for copper, and it's a great mix into our portfolio coming from Aranzazu. So copper, we saw copper reaching $4.8 per pound coming from the $3 per pound, like, I don't know, a few months ago. So, and then there's all these potential opportunities for demand coming from electric cars, from civil construction in China and everywhere. So it's a great mix into our portfolio. We're taking upsides from both gold and copper, which is it's very complementary to our portfolio, right?
No, I love the fact that copper addition. Everyone who watches me knows I love copper, so I mean it's hard not to like it, and it leads the charge too when you're talking about. I kind of look at just the general way. You've got gold. If you're going to talk about real value, I mean, as far as central banks and whatnot, and we're in a chaotic time. Gold is a flight to safety. It's always respected. It's got 6,000 years worth of history. But adding the copper component is not only all of our innovation requires electricity, it requires copper. When people really kind of stop and think and go, ooh, we're going to need an abundance of copper. Where's it coming from? And how's it getting to us? And that matters. And I think people with COVID, with the chain of custody of things and how things get transported, they start to realize, oh, we really need to really be thinking where we're getting our products from and who's supplying them and where they are. And then that kind of ties in to some degree too with right when you go to your homepage, it talks about 360 degrees. And I kind of liken that to the whole ESG strategy, is that this whole acknowledgement of we're doing things the correct way, we're doing it with guidance, we're doing things socially responsible, and it's setting up people. And I know Austin wanted to talk about this a bit, especially setting up the younger generation to go, listen, we're innovative, we're listening, and we also know we're critical and we're required for the future, but we want to make sure that we're hitting all those social aspects as well.
Yeah, so I think the main things I kind of wanted to get you guys to touch on when it came to that is maybe, first of all, run us through 360-degree mining and kind of how that's your guys' approach to being a stronger, more sustainable mining company. And then on the other side of that as well, is for someone who doesn't spend a lot of time looking at the Americas as a region, what should make it attractive to investors in North America about looking at you guys and looking at the region that you guys operate in?
Kleber, you want me to? So we are a company focused in Americas. We are focused in gold. So we are now operating all throughout all Americas. We're not just a Brazilian company. We're listed in Canada. Our headquarters, our CEO, CFO, COO, they're all in the US. We have all relationships in the US. We have a mine operating in U.S. Gold Road in Arizona, together with another mine in Mexico, Honduras, and another one in Brazil. I think we are kind of the type of company that wants to we see that mining must to be modernized in some types of way. We had kind of a young executive team. Rodrigo is 46. Kleber, we are all thinking we know that we need to build relationships anywhere we are. We know that is not only about doing some social works where we are, but to understand that we depend on them and they depend on us, and to build a relationship where everybody benefits from our upsides. That to be sure that the communities, the suppliers, our employees, the shareholders, everybody is taking the advantage and the benefit from what we've been doing. That is what we see that is how we will be sustained to be here on the long term, right? So to build strong relationships with everyone, to be transparent, to be there to give the good news, and to be there to give the bad news. This is very important. That's how we want to build our company. And this 360 is the reflect of that. Reflects what our vision to be a transparent and modern company. To understand that everybody must we depend on all those stakeholders, and they depend on us, and we must build strong relationships. Everybody must benefit from that, and to have a transparent relationship. And that's how we see that we will be able to be here strong for the next 10, 20, 30 years. And that's how you sustain your growth, right?
Yeah, I think it's great, and it's important to see a company that will take the initiative that you guys have to lay that out and say this is our standpoint, our philosophy on community, on employees, on building the company in a innovative and responsible way. I think it's a really great initiative from you guys to kind of jump out on top of that and kind of try to set the standard on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great. We had actually Jamie Strauss from Digby who presented at the G7, and he works with a lot of like BlackRock and a lot of funds and a lot of family offices as well, talking about ESG. And he was even saying the amount of money that wants to flow into the whole like ESG sector. So whether it's energy side or whatnot, but that includes mining. But it's just he's trying to work that gap between saying, listen, everyone knows funds need to flow into mining. And those are out there with great stewardship and the ability to convey that to people that, listen, we're listening, we're doing things correctly. And the more attention we get in the market, the better we're funded. And the more the market accepts us, then we can have all electric mines. We can do all these things. It's just a matter of do the funds want to recognize the reality of copper is required, like whether it's for Bitcoin mining or real mining, you need to have these things. And if everyone's on board with the message, then yes, we can do things, in any way that anyone wishes. And it just reminds me that, when you see a company that right off the bat, right when you go to their webpage, your whole holistic philosophy is planted there. And it isn't just like a feel good thing, because we could just spend the next hour talking about all the feel-good financial points. I mean, the stock looks great. You're paying out a huge dividend. You got 4 cash flow mines. But I wanted to touch on this as well because it is important, especially for attracting newer investors, general investors, because sometimes they look at mining and go, oh my goodness, all we hear is bad news and bad stories if we see anything about mining. And then the further they're away from North America, the more they think, are they going to do the right thing? So that's why we wanted to kind of highlight it.
Yeah, we released our sustainability report. It's been 2 months. It's available on our website. And as you were saying, I think this trend and this demand on being sustainable is a no way back trend. Like our investors, they are right now asking and demanding us and requesting companies and different companies to have that type of holistic vision, and and it will be in the future. It will be just stronger, that idea and that requirement from investors and from the market for us to be transparent, holistic, to see. To be responsible in terms of environment, in terms of communities, in terms of everything, right? And you have to be ready right now. You have to start building all those fronts right now to be to the future, right? That's the thing.
Yes. Well, maybe we're clever as well. Can we maybe pull up slide 9 and talk about the balance sheet and the share? Because that's a great card, a great slide to go through. And this is straight from your deck, but it might be a little bit old. It's a month old or 6 weeks. So, but the numbers are pretty clear. And I want people to kind of see if we could pull that up, Adam. This tells a great story right here alone. Maybe you could walk us through some of this and also the dividend. Oh.
Kleber,
Kleber, we can't hear you. Yeah, sorry.
I think you're on mute.
No.
Yeah, we don't. No. Okay. You want me to go through this?
Maybe you go through it till Kleber we hear Kleber. You can jump in as soon as we hear him.
Yeah. So this is this slide shows like our type of equity structure. So now, as you see on the right, you see that that liquidity growing up after our IPO in Brazil. So we just boosted. We're now reaching more than around $3.5 million a day of liquidity, sometimes going further. We were just included into MVIS index 2 weeks ago, the GDXJ. So we are part of a very reliable index, one of the most important index for juniors and mid-tier companies. So it's just helping us and boosting and making the market aware of who is ORA, and it's still a long way to get into Canada and US market. So we see and understand that once Canadian market and US market sees and understands what's ORA, there's still a high value to be unlocked in there with the liquidity coming from Canada and US. And that's very important. That's our main agenda for this year in here. And if you see, so part of our share ownership comes from these Northwestern enterprises. That is, they are the same shareholders and investors that founded Yamana Gold in the early 2000s. So they founded Yamana Gold together with the current CEO there, Peter Mahoney. They took ORA from a $40 million company to a $12 billion dollar company. Then they divested in Yamana on the 2010 to 2012, and then ORA is kind of their idea for a new Yamana, but in a different way with a type of modern company. And we are together coming with us important funds. We got Capitalo, Traxt, and the main funds in Brazil are joined us with our IPO last year. Those are the major funds here in Brazil. We have Abu Dhabi Investment Authority that joined us into our IPO last year. We are above 35,000 individual shareholders already. It's even more than what you have it in there that joined us in Brazil and Canada and US. So we have like a great shareholders together, and this is very important for our structure. Kleber, I think now we can hear you if you like.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect.
Don't know what's happening here. Yeah, no, and other than that, I don't know if Gabriel comments, but in terms of balance sheet, we ended the end of first quarter with $6 million in cash. We paid $6 million in dividends because even considering those projects that we have ahead of us, and we have that growth project, we saw there was a space that we
we could pay the dividends and still put in place those projects without increasing significantly the leverage of the company. So we try to not exceed in our plan, never to exceed 1x leverage net debt over EBITDA. So that will never be a risk to our growth plan, not to leverage too much the company. But at the same time, not to just keep excess cash in the company, where we would have the opportunity to pay back that to the shareholders. If you keep the excess cash at the company for no reason or just waiting for a new project to arrive, it's we see it wouldn't be in the best interest for all the company, for all the shareholders. No, would be a better use to pay that back. So we try to be in the balance, not to leverage too much, but that doesn't mean necessarily that we need to sit on a pile of cash. We have been generating strong cash. In the last quarter of EBITDA was close to $50 million.
Yeah.
So could pay the dividends and use the cash flow from operations to reinvest in the business, in the growth. So we have had the opportunity to do both pay strong dividends. The dividend yield was over 8% that we paid. So was the highest among any precious metal mining company on TSX. So we have been able to balance both paying dividends and also grow the company.
The other thing too that I want to mention, I mean, we're not talking out of school here, is that you are positioned well. That if you want to look at M&A, if you want to look at picking up any assets, you're sitting in a very strong position to do so. And not that you're announcing anything on here, but I'm sure that's something that is now you're probably getting lots of offers. There's lots of suitors. There's lots of information out there, and projects to look at. That's probably something that you're looking at as well to add growth as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, that could be a source of growth. We are always evaluating opportunities. We're very cautious because we have good projects, just like Almas, no? So we always compare what we have internally before going in acquisition. So doing acquisitions could be a source to grow the company that can add value. But the good thing is we don't need that to grow the company.
You don't need it, yeah.
That is exactly. So yes, if you find the right project, we're going to evaluate. But the good thing is we don't have that pressure. We don't need it.
Yes.
So we're going to make a deal if that's a creative and if it adds value to the company.
And it's great because you are really sitting in that position of strength, because your milestone graph that we were showing before, where your growth there, I mean, that's strong growth, and the market's obviously recognizing that you can do it. You're raising money without any issue, and that's without getting the appropriate response from North America. And I think once they really wake up and see and are made aware of what you guys are up to, I think that it adds more leverage for you guys. And I love the fact you're paying out, I think, 83 cents a share as a dividend, because they're also being rewarded. Those who invested in you, not only an incredible growth in stock, but you're also saying, hey, here's a little sweetener, which is really cool. I mean, it's nice to see.
Yeah. And let me comment that if you take the analysts that covers ORA, they are not pricing that growth. They are just pricing current reserves, current resources, and their target price are already between 50 to 60% upside into the spot price for the share right now. And further than those target prices and that potential growth for the share price that the analyst brings is all that potential growth that we have, as Kleber mentioned, that we are strong in cash to fund our project. We're strong in cash to evaluate new projects, and there's a long way to go from here.
Excellent. Well, I'll be reaching out to some of you subscribers, because this is one that I was lucky to stumble across a couple of weeks back, and I thought, if I can get these guys on the show, this would be great, because I see a huge upside with you guys and the work you're doing. and you're sitting very strong right now. And once again, I get people all the time. I like to get in early in things. And people say, "Oh my God, Andrew, they already had a huge run up." You go, "They have, but they've also dealt with that run up appropriately." And they're not leveraging themselves too much. They're not going shooting for the moon. As they're pulling back, but still aggressive growth. And I think people, when they see that whole business plan mapped out, they'll really kind of go, okay, wow, these guys are setting themselves up in this mid tier to really shake things up. And it's nice to see that constrained enthusiasm, I guess you could say, without getting too carried away because of all the success. I see you guys sitting in a very strong position moving forward. Just my humble opinion. Yeah. But Austin, I think you wanted to just wrap things up, but I really appreciate you guys coming on, and once again, people watching, send us a message. We'll answer any questions for you and direct you towards Gabriel as well. But we're going to be watching here for any of the updates and the news that you guys have coming out.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come on and chat with us. I love the approach you guys have. I love the projects you guys have. It's really exciting. Thank you guys for taking the time to run us through ORA and everything you guys are doing.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invite, Andrew, Austin. It's been our conversation was awesome last week, and these interviews it's very great, and excited to be here with you showing our case. We have our website. We have the mailing list on our investor relations website that you can subscribe and take all the news from of ORA. There's always something going on in here. It's just a lot going on, and there's always news. And I invited everyone to get to understand a bit better of our case. We have our corporate presentation on our website as well available. Thank you very much for
excellent. Make sure you go sign up, guys, and we'll send it out by Twitter and all the social media. But make sure you check out because there's going to have a lot of news flow, and I think people should be paying attention. Beautiful. Thanks. Well, have a good day, guys. Take care. Thank you so much for your time.
Perfect.
Thank you
guys.
very much.